Today is a really special day, November 9th, exactly 6 months, an exact opposition of my 33rd coming up birthday, May 9th. And today we're moving through the first Gene Key, which I'd love to talk about and share a little bit of context what this Gene Key means in the context of life, in the context as a code, as a code that we all carry. It's the prime fire, the prime yang energy, the prime masculine, and also how this code relates in our own life. Where is it showing up, and how can we tap into its gift more and become aware of its shadow when the shadow shows up. And so we're moving, this Gene Key moves through the shadow of entropy. In other words, loss of energy, numbness, this feeling of numbness. And moves to the gift of freshness, to the Siddhi, the highest aspiration of the shadow. The Siddhi in Sanskrit, it means divine gift, is beauty. So this is the first gift that emerges from the feminine, the first gift that is light. You know, everything that we see in this world is because of this element of light, the masculine, that emerges from the void, emerges from the feminine, emerges from the darkness, which is the second Gene Key. And these two are a pair. They are programming partners. So there's 64 Gene Keys, 64 different codes of life that are part of this big synthesis called the Gene Keys. And a synthesis is basically wisdom that derives wisdom. It's a wisdom that derives wisdom from many different wisdoms, including the I Ching, astrology, numerology, the indigenous wisdom, biology, sociology. It's a cold book of life, ultimately. Hence, just today, right before tuning into this video, I received this name, Codes of Life, and to share codes of life, to share more codes of life, as this is one of my favorite things to observe, to play with, to digest, to experience, to activate. It's these different codes that are within life, that are within our body, they're within our cells, they're within our DNA, and they're also part of the greater organism that is life, of the greater web. The I Ching goes into this in a lot of depth, and it's also a very ancient practice that the Gene Keys really, that's its base, the I Ching. This is where it this is the system that it utilizes, which is an oracle that is wisdom deriving its wisdom from nature, from the natural laws of nature and the cosmos. And the Gene Keys is particularly speaking the language of what I call the heart mind. It's a specific language that there's poetry, there is more of the feminine openness, and by feminine I mean there is more openness. It's not as a rigid kind of or dogmatic. It's not like this one-way thing. No, it's contemplative. It's yielding. It's really a living transmission. And the more I've noticed that I go deeper within myself, the more this living transmission lives within me. The more I'm noticing it, the more awareness I have how these codes are playing out in my own life, and also how they're playing out in the larger whole, in the world. As these are patterns. There are different patterns that are encoded within life. There are 64 patterns. The 64 number is seen throughout everything, throughout nature, throughout the music, throughout architecture, throughout our genetic code. There's 64 amino acids. It's everywhere, this specific code. And it's really how I see it. It's an expression of the divine, of the creator, of the creatrix, of the mother, of this whatever we want to refer to, this great cosmos, the seen and unseen that interweaves everything else. And it's a roadmap. It's a roadmap that helps us to remember our specific primary codes. So even though we have all of them, even though we have all 64, as we have all the amino acids, we have all the astrological signs, they're specific elements based on when we're born, where we're born, based on our specific mission and what we came here to share with the world. We have primary codings. We have codings that activate our specific flavor of how we enjoy this life, of how we get to share our gifts. And yeah, discovering those for me has been a really deep joy, a really deep remembrance. And at the same time, I feel a lot of times I feel like a baby learning to speak a language, a baby learning to be in this world, a baby knowing that there's like a whole lifetime ahead of so much more depth and understanding of these codes that are the fabric of everything, literally. So every code, every gene key, it's a portal. It's a portal to infinite exploration, infinite. As it's a part of us. It's a part of our genetic code, and it's a part of life's code, which is infinite. We can go infinite lifetimes exploring just one code, and every code is a hologram of all the other codes. So every gene key, every amino acid that we carry is a hologram of the whole. As within, so without. As above, so below. You know, if it's not representing the whole within the small, then it's not the full, all-encompassing picture. At least not for me. And so the Gene Keys does a really good job of sharing this transmission through many different perspectives and many different wisdoms, and sharing it in a way that is applicable, that is playful, that is experiential, that is here for us to play with and digest and explore within our own lives.